This is my reflective presentation. My relationship to photography is embedded in my DNA. In 1941, my father enlisted in the Royal Canadian Air Force. At age 19, he had the insight to realize the importance of documenting his experiences through photography and packed a camera in his kit bag. This portrait captures the essence of my father in 1943. It reveals to me his youthful confidence and innocence of the trauma of war. My father stayed in the Air Force after the war and retired as a career military pilot. These photos were taken with my father's camera and sadly represent the only photos from that time period remaining in my possession. One generation later, when I turned 19, my dad gave me my first camera, a Pentax K1000. It was like passing a torch and founded my lifelong interest in photography. You never forget your first love. I was so excited. Little did I know that it would mean so much to me. It opened up my world. From the beginning, I was naturally drawn to taking candid portraits of people. I noticed that people act differently when they see a camera. During visits to my Scottish Nan, she would pull out old photo albums from the old country in Stonehouse, Scotland, and run her fingers across the photos and saying, "Deed, deed, she's deed." And it took my Canadian ear some time to translate she meant dead. I was becoming acutely aware that photography was a method to document a person's very existence. Portraits enable me to capture the unique personalities and features of people. Through photography, I feel that you can capture a moment that visually tells a person's story. Portraits give you a glimpse of a person's vulnerability, a sense of their humanity. Sometimes when you take a picture of a person, they let you in and trust you with their likeness. That is when you create something special, and it happens in a moment. The street photographer Henri Cartier-Bresson said, "To me, photography is the simultaneous recognition, in a fraction of a second, of the significance of an event as well as the precise organization forms which give that event its proper expression. When I take a picture, I might look at my subject for a minute or an instant. It's a feeling that something is about to happen. There is this instantaneous recognition of what Cartier-Bresson describes as the decisive moment." One of my influences is Diane Arbus, who said, "The most important part of a photograph is the event. The photograph is the reward for getting it done." This idea is evident in my present practice. My photographs are taken very quickly. I don't really have time to think about them. In her article entitled, "Was Diane Arbus the most radical photographer of the 20th century?" Alex Marr said, "She gave a human dimension to extravagant individuals living on the fringe. At the moment, the people that I am interested in are certainly living on the fringe. Most of these people live rough and carry their possessions in a plastic bag. I only have a few seconds to take these photographs as law enforcement was chasing us down. Since it is illegal to give these people food, I have an extremely short amount of time to establish trust before I can take their picture." In his 1986 book, Documentary Photography, Arthur Rothstein said, "The aim of photography is to move people to action, to change or prevent a situation because it may be wrong or damaging, or to support or encourage one because it is beneficial. Presently, my photographs are part of a movement to change an unfair law targeting a marginalized group. It is important for me to use what I can to try and evoke change." I am involved with a small group of food advocates who are trying to reverse a law that prohibits people from giving food or water to the homeless. We are trying to change this law by using photographs that I have taken of the homeless people and then having a series of exhibitions and guerrilla art events in public places to build awareness, create public outrage, and promote change. Hopefully, this change will allow this small group of volunteers to make and distribute food to those in need, all with a simple and genuine intention of giving back, to make the lives of people who receive the food just a little bit better. The intention of this group of photographs is to create outrage and for the viewer to feel compassion against a backdrop of a hostile environment. While photographing this unsheltered, it was important that they look at me in my eyes in the few seconds that I have to take their picture. My intentions with the exhibition was that the viewer not be able to avoid looking at them in their eyes, as to create an attachment, a connection that doesn't exist when someone sees a homeless person on the street. The exhibition itself will be homeless, reflecting the people that it's about. It has no place, no home, no safe environment to exist in. City Council put a high-frequency sound-emitting device under a bridge where people once sought shelter. Even though the incessant beeping upsets the adjacent seniors' residence and can be heard at the elementary school across the street, the war against marginalized citizens rages on. This is the moment when my project became clear. These people are surrounded by a hostile environment, but yet expected to live in it. My photos could be in places where the people could not. As in David Hockney and Alex Colville's paintings, the people in the paintings seem to float on top of the picture plane, so as to belong yet not belong, creating an environment that seems awkward and foreign. They exist in it, but they are not part of it. They are uneasy. They are just existing on the surface of the painting, not participating in it. My practice has increasingly gone towards the idea of documentation and investigating this awkwardness, as in the Hockney and Colville paintings, as to what belongs and what doesn't, the idea of space and how the people I am interested in fit into it and survive or not.